Here's our video on how to use rates to convert measurements. And we're going to be using equivalent ratios again, like we've been doing for a while here. We have two kind of measurements we're going to focus on, and the first one is length, and then the second one is capacity. And these are the measurements that we're going to be using, so I'm going to be writing these down. When you're working in my class, you would have these provided for you, so you don't have to memorize these. These would be provided for you in a reference sheet that you're going to use, but you do need to be able to pick out the right one. Okay, let's do some examples. Okay, here in our first example, we want to convert 108 inches to feet, so I'm going from inches to feet. If I look at my reference sheet, I'm going to find out that I'm going to use this one, that 12 inches equals 1 foot. So that's what I would look for. I look for the one that has the 2 units that I want. So I'm going to write 12 inches is equal to 1 foot. I'm going to write that as a ratio, 12 inches to 1 foot. You have to understand that when things equal each other, that's also a ratio. So then I'm going to press equals, and then I know that I have 108 inches. So I'm going to put the 108 in the numerator because that's going to go with my 12 inches. I don't know how many feet down here, which is what I'm looking for. Now I know that 12 times 9 equals 108. But if you did not know that, how would you find that answer? Well, if you don't know that 12 goes into 108 9 times, you can just take 108 and divide it by 12. So take the two numbers from the problem, and that's going to equal 9. That's going to let me know what I'm multiplying by. So then I multiply by 9 down here. 1 times 9 is 9, so I know that the answer is 9 feet. So those are equivalent ratios. Let's do that again. Okay, Rob hit an 81-yard chip shot for par. How many feet is this? So I'm going to look for my conversion rate between feet and yards. I know that there are 3 feet to 1 yard. Okay, so that's my conversion rate. That's what I would look on my list and see. Now I'm going to figure this out. Now this says 81 yards. So I'm going to put 81 yards in the denominator because that's going to match there. So how do I get from 1 to 81? Well, 1 times 81 is 81. So I do 3 times 81 in the numerator. And 3 times 81 is 243. I put my unit, because that's feet up here, so that's 243 feet. And that's my answer. Okay? So I'm going to set up, the first ratio is going to be my conversion, and those conversions come from these lists. My second ratio is going to be the number from the problem, and then using that multiplier to figure out how I get from one part to the other part. Alright, let's go on to example 2. In example 2, we're going to focus on capacity measurements. So the first one is 4 gallons equals how many pints. So the first thing I want to know is how many pints are in a gallon. I know that there's 8 pints in 1 gallon. So what am I going to do here? Well, I know I have 4 gallons, so I'm going to put 4 gallons down here because those units are going to match up, and I want to find the numerator. How do I go from 1 to 4? Well, that's 1 times 4. So in the numerator, I'm going to do 8 times 4. 8 times 4 is 32. So I know that there are 32 pints in 4 gallons. In problem 2, it's just a word problem with the same thing. Tim drank 20 cups of water yesterday. How many quarts did he drink? So I want to think, how many cups are in a quart? Well, I know that looking at my reference sheet that there are 4 cups in 1 quart. So I'm going to do 4 cups to 1 quart. 20 cups is going to go in the numerator to match my 4 cups. And I don't know this. How do I go from 4 to 20? Well, that's times 5. 1 times 5 is 5, so I know my answer is 5 quarts. Okay, so that's how we use equivalent ratios to find our answer. Have a good night. I'll see you later.